Welcome to the JBs Powercast, your fast lane to industry news, local events, racing, aftermarket parts, and nearly everything automotive. The JBs Powercast starts now.
We're back.
We are back.
What
officially.
the hell?
Season 2, Episode 1. I was going through my emails right as you were sitting down. We made it to 29 episodes before.
Wow.
Before we got untimely canceled, too soon,
Yeah.
as it were.
You want to call it cancel culture? Because I think that's the growing term.
I don't think we were canceled for anything that we said, as much as canceled for, reasons.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Beyond our control.
Whatever those reasons were,
Yeah.
doesn't matter anymore because we're back and
Absolutely.
it's uncanceled.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's good to be back. It's been a long year, I think, for everybody.
It has, yeah. It's been almost exactly a year. It was right at the end of September is when we had the last one. Fast forward, we're at the start of November. And what a year it's been. Ups, downs, news, crazy. The pandemic is still around. Not that anyone's surprised about that.
Yeah, we were hoping it was kind of going to go away, though, don't you think?
I think everyone was hoping, but I think everyone was hoping in the front of their mind,
Yeah.
and in the back of their mind, it's like, yeah, but really?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have faith in your government. I think it'll be good.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Have faith in whatever you choose to have faith in.
We don't want to be canceled again, so let's just keep it at that.
Let's move on, yeah. Anyway, we are back, and it's me, Corey, and
Adel.
We will not have our old third partner, Sierra. Sierra has moved on, bigger and better and greener and brighter things.
Absolutely.
So she's not going to be a part of the podcast anymore. But there are some other changes that's going to come as well.
We're going to do things a little differently for season 2. I think we're going to go and try to get out there a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Do some live on location things, visit other businesses, that we associate with the business, and sometimes not.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
We definitely want to get out there. It's not just going to be us sitting here and looking pretty.
We'll break the format a little bit.
We will.
We'll do some of the old stuff.
Of course.
Obviously, we're going to have lots of interviews with some industry people, with some racers, with some local guys,
You bet.
all that stuff, because we know you guys love hearing about it. You love the being able to write questions and have them answered. All that stuff will still be there, but we'll just change it up a little bit. Some new segments, some new ideas. And actually, one of the things that we really want to focus on is we want your guys' input.
Absolutely.
We want you guys as listeners and viewers to give suggestions, ideas, questions, comments, and we're going to be answering those. So, and actually, as of the next episode, we're going to be doing that live as much as possible.
You bet.
So you guys have the opportunity to ask us things and input. If you want to make comments on any news things we're talking about or whatever it is, we'll be watching the feed, and hopefully we'll be able to respond in more or less real time to all that stuff.
We're going to try to set up an email address.
Yes.
So that after the fact, if you're thinking, hey, I'd like to hear about this topic, or hey guys, what about this, or just general excellent advice from Corey and myself, we'll be available to give it to you.
I mean, any advice from me and you is excellent advice.
Yeah. Oh,
and it can be about anything.
And
like what wheels should I run? Does this lowering kit look good? Should my wife wear this dress? Photos attached, please. Absolutely crucial.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it is, we're there
in
to
our
help.
opinions, our advice is bar none better than anybody else's out there.
I mean, I can guarantee it's the best advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I concur.
So we are going to do some new stuff moving forward. Obviously, we still want to talk about the industry. There's always news coming out. Our timing is pretty good, seeing as it is SEMA week, day 2 today. So in a bit, we're going to talk about some things from that. We'll probably on the next podcast do a little bit of a SEMA recap on all the things that we didn't get a chance to talk about.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was interesting this last year. Just reflecting a little bit, sitting with you, the lights are on, that type of thing is. We have we'll call him a 12-volt car guru guy.
We do.
And Dave McLean.
Absolutely.
And a couple months back, I walked by our boardroom here where we do this, and sure enough, I seen the post on the window saying live recording in progress, and do not disturb. And I'm not going to lie, I got pretty pissed off about it. I immediately, had a look in the glass and thought that, holy shit, Corey and I were replaced.
Right, Dave took over the Powercast.
Dave took over the Powercast, and there was some shit to be raised
Oh
at
yeah,
that point.
oh yeah. You were fuming.
Yeah, and so went to the authorities, and asked some questions. Realized that hey, he's doing his own thing when it comes to 12 volt. I believe it's the starter stereo.
That's right. He was on a couple episodes of CMA Live.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think, as far as I know, he's probably going to be on some more. I know that was a bit of a continued thing. So,
right.
Yeah, that's something that we're also involved in. I mean, us as a larger sort of group.
You bet.
Getting out there and doing all sorts of different podcasts and video production and whatever we can do to sort of spread the good word, we'll do.
Yeah, and like I said, I've calmed down a little bit. I feel better that we are back, and that he didn't take
your place.
What was rightfully I'm not going to lie. I would have tore the shit down if I saw you sitting next to him doing the podcast. It would have been.
If it makes you feel any better, I would have refused.
Thank you.
He would have been doing it solo.
Yeah, and that is recorded now, so you can't take it back. Likewise.
Yes, I appreciate it.
But it's good, and we will always be informing on cool new ideas, new products coming through. But again, we want to talk about what our viewers and what our listeners want to hear about.
Yeah, of course.
And we want to get out there and we want to be in the face of the community and see what's happening all over Alberta.
Absolutely. Well, and like this past year, we've sort of, the different events and the programs that we've been involved in, we've really kind of widened our breadth a little bit. Like, we were involved very heavily with Spec D, the drift practice. I'm sure that we'll be involved again come spring, summertime.
Yep.
Did a lot of stuff for them. Obviously, Friday Night Street Legals, we were, someone was out there every weekend, basically.
Absolutely.
You were there often because you're racing.
Yeah, you bet. And it was good to see. I think it started off a little slow, with and I think the biggest part was that everybody wanted to do it, you just weren't sure what the rules were.
Sure, totally.
And they were always changing, and it was always, you can't bring your kids with you because it's crew only. Well, by the end of it, there was a couple hundred cars at the Street Legal, and it was pretty cool to see people out and about and
doing it again.
Getting back to what we're going to call normal.
Yeah.
Right? And another big event that we were the title sponsor was the Miles of Mayhem.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And we didn't have any of our own cars go out to that, but we did attend the finale in Rimbey, and wow, what an event. People were just stoked about the whole idea. It's the Canadian version of a hot rod tour or a power tour, whatever it is, and people were willing to sign up right there for the next one.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's a bit of a stay tuned. I'm sure we're gonna come back to that topic in a future episode.
Absolutely.
Talk about it some more. Maybe have a guest speak about some of it.
You bet.
Because that's a really cool event.
Yeah, and I think it went off relatively well. There were some good stories. We'll share that, like you said, when we have the guest on. But it just shows that as a car community, as a province, as cities, we are growing to do things that we would never thought possible in the area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people getting involved that traditionally wouldn't have, and it's cool to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, well, the other big show that we were involved with, which was kind of at the tail end of summer, was Driven, of course.
Yes.
Driven had an awesome turnout, all things considered.
Yep.
The show was big. The place was packed with cars.
Yep.
I'm sure that, one of our producers, Steve, does all our video on the YouTube channel. He runs our Instagram. So if you guys want to check out the YouTube channel, there's tons of Driven content there. He also does a whole bunch of Spec D content that I know he uploaded. So please go check that stuff out. It's super cool. If you didn't know this, Steve has a very unique, one-of-a-kind ride, which I suspect we may be featuring. We were talking about this earlier, how something we might want to do is like a spotlight on staff rides.
Cool.
And Steve's truck deserves some spotlight. He's known around town as the 780 film truck. He's basically got a homebrew flat deck Ranger with a camera rig mounted on the back that lets him do rolling video. He did track shoots with the Spec D guys. Some of the coolest video that you'll see come out of, certainly out of the Edmonton area, and he's making a name for himself. And he's our guy. That's the best thing about it. So.
It is the best thing about it, and I can say I've driven the Danger Ranger.
Likewise.
And it fills the name very well.
Lives up to its name.
The comment from Steve, who straps himself into the back, expired seatbelts, by the way, but straps himself into the back of this thing, and let's get on to the Hyundai.
Yeah.
And the comment, as I'm sitting in there figuring things out, is, please don't kill me and don't roll the truck over.
Yeah.
A little
Those are the two rules when driving the. Rule number 1: please don't kill Steve. Rule number 2: please don't roll the truck.
Roll the truck over.
Other than that,
hey, have at her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully we obviously we're careful. We love Steve. We need him around, otherwise nothing flows. But it's cool.
Yeah, it's super
cool. It truly is. And I was at the Driven show at Kingsway to start to help set up.
Yep.
The team did everything. I just kind of browsed through a little bit. The truck gets more attention than you could ever imagine.
Absolutely.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And then when people look at the back and they're like, "Hey, what's this?" Yeah.
Yeah. It stands out.
So.
Yeah. It stands out. We'll definitely we'll do a feature spot on it. Have no doubt.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Yeah. Otherwise, as far as the show goes, like I said, moving into this new season, see a little bit more variety. We'll probably go for a little bit shorter run times typically, unless we've got something special. It just happens to, the idea is it's going to go as long as it goes, right? We're kind of ditching a strict format, and we want to be a little bit more free, a little bit more flow, and just do what feels good and what's natural.
Yeah. I think time is money.
Absolutely.
And if our podcast here lasts 45 minutes and it's exactly what we want it to be, great. Speaking of money, being that we haven't done this in a year, how did you fill the void over the last few months?
Well, I had a couple side gigs, a couple side projects.
I know you did. Uh-huh. And Steve found some things very interesting of exactly what you did. Well, I understand not everybody will see this live. Let me play it out for you.
Yeah, please do. Please give some descripted video.
You had an OnlyFans page, and no judgment from this side of the table. All the power to you. Not going to tell you how I found it, but hey, you should be returning my calls.
Well, you got to learn. You got to DM. It's all about the DMs.
Right.
I don't take phone calls. It says that right on the page. No phone calls.
Exactly why I don't know. But okay.
It has been an interesting year. With on the one hand, I kind of want to recap, but at the same time, we're here, and let's move forward.
You bet.
Right.
You bet. And I think everybody wants to move forward.
Yeah. Agreed.
As a company and all the elections are over and all that crap's done. Everybody just, hey, what's next?
What's next, indeed?
In moving forward, I'm going to Vegas 2 weeks from now.
Really?
Yeah.
What for?
Streetcar Super Nationals.
Really?
Yep.
Lucky you.
You know what? Need to get away.
I understand that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's whatever the rules are, or you have to, or whatever it is.
Sure.
It's worth it.
Well, and you've got the freedom to do it now, at least, right? Follow the rules, and you'll be fine.
Exactly. And I just spoke to a friend of mine that just had come back from the NHRA event in Vegas, and he's like, it's as if nothing happened. And I'm like, well, great. That means all the restaurants are open, the hotels are open. Do as you wish, do as you please. It's as normal as it's going to be. And he goes, other than having to wear a mask going into the buildings,
sure,
nothing matters. I'm like, perfect. So, yeah, I encourage everybody to start living the way they used to. Why not?
Sure. Well, and to that, I read this morning that this year's SEMA is the first full capacity event that's been held in Las Vegas, and they're at. And I mean, we've been. Mm-hmm. The show is huge.
Oh yeah.
Full capacity for that show means full capacity. There's a lot of people.
A lot of vehicles.
A lot of moving parts. A lot of stuff. Lots going on. Which is good. That is a step towards, again, just kind of getting back to being able to do stuff and feel good about it.
Yeah. You know, the last year, you want to take the kids somewhere, you're not sure. You want to go, you're not sure. But now we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. And it hopefully nothing but forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should take a quick commercial break.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a few.
And we're going to talk about some news.
Nice. Sounds good.
When it comes to buying a remote starter, you can trust the experts at JBs Power Center. JBs carries the best brands in remote starters, like AstroStart, Fortin, and Viper. Our friendly and helpful staff will help you pick the best remote starter to best suit your needs and your budget. You can even start your car from your phone. All of our packages come fully installed and there are no hidden fees or surprises. I know if it were me, I would only want an expert touching my car's electronics, and JB's Power Center's installation department is second to none. Why wait any longer? Contact JB's Power Center today and let one of our experts find the best system for you. And stay warm this winter.
And we're back.
How was that commercial?
Great.
Yeah.
That was featuring our own Anya.
Anya, yeah, Northside, JB's location.
New JB's ad star. I was replaced. I was told I wasn't cute enough. Steve. But you know what? He's not wrong.
Well done,
Yeah,
Steve.
he's not wrong.
Well
I guess
done.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Is he's absolutely right. Yes.
Sorry, you're just not my type.
I get that a lot. Yeah, I understand. It's fine. I'm not everyone's type.
Well, if you remember at the start with the voiceovers and all that stuff, I think it was exclusively yourself, and then I got involved, and now I think it's just Jason. You know, he's got the
Well, he's got that Sunday voice.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
which
like
carries well in some ads.
most ads.
Yeah.
I mean, if you listen to every type of commercial, it almost has the same guy doing the same shit over and over again. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, just like you, I replaced fine.
Happy to be.
Happy to be. You know, that's great. That's one less thing we have to do, I guess.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about some news,
Yeah.
as we always do. Let's talk about some things. A lot has happened, but let's talk about recent stuff specifically.
yeah.
Because why go back, talk about something that we missed? There's no point now.
remembers?
Everyone's talked about it. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Let's talk about new stuff.
You bet.
So this isn't brand new like today, but this is still, about a week or so. So we're going to talk about it because it's exciting. So obviously the new C8 Corvette has been around for a while. I'm surprised at how many I see because initially there was a real question about whether they'd be able to deliver
Right.
and when and so much and so forth.
Who's gonna have
Man,
one, yep.
You drive around Edmonton, I'm shocked at how many C8s I see. They're all over the place.
I agree.
I like
I
every,
agree.
and they, it's an amazing looking car. And we chatted about it last year, kind of before they came out. They really knocked it out of the park with escalating the Corvette to a world stage.
Absolutely.
It used to be sort of the American sports car. And, there's still certain things that follow it around.
Yeah.
Like you were saying the other day, Kirkland sneakers.
Oh, right, yeah. Your atypical Corvette guy, right? Yeah, I mean, that's
I'm working on my Corvette ownership right here.
It takes time. It takes time. And then I'll believe that you're that when you're wearing the jean shorts,
Yeah,
Kirkland running shoes, pulled up white socks.
of course. Almost,
and
right around
a
mid-calf.
Dale Earnhardt / Corvette button-up T-shirt that just signifies that I own a Corvette.
And a GM Performance
Hat.
yeah. Yeah, and then hey, no shade on Corvette owners, obviously.
No,
but
no.
It's like any type of car or thing. There's always an
Let's
associated.
leave the Ford guys to the side.
Well, I was going to
'cause
say,
damn.
right, we could talk about Ford guys. We could certainly talk about Subaru guys
Yeah,
and vape
Mopar
pens and
guys.
white sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mopar guys.
they all have
Exactly.
their thing.
Yeah.
So
I've got this Mopar. It's worth $1 million. Yeah, only to you.
Yeah.
It's like, go to hell, dude. Right? But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I agree with you. You see the Corvettes everywhere. Do you do the double look every time? You think it's a Ferrari, you think it's an exotic, and then you're like, oh wait, that's a Corvette.
Every fucking time.
Right,
Every time
absolutely.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what's that? Oh, and don't get me wrong, it's not, it's a Corvette as in
No.
if I'm disappointed, but it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Corvette.
Corvette. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good,
yeah.
very good. So, all of that leading up to, of course, they just released the new Z06, which, obviously in Corvette sort of history, the Z06 actually, I think came out in 60, and Corvette guys are going to instantly blast me on this one because I'm going to get it wrong. But
you're not
who
there
cares?
yet, but yeah, go ahead.
66, 7, maybe?
Sure.
Either way, it was one of the first sort of auxiliary models that they came out with.
Sure.
So it has a really long heritage. So they've just released the new C8 Z06, which normally, okay, cool, there's been a Z06 on all of them.
Yep.
But this one, what makes it so special is they've totally redesigned for the first time in GM history ever, basically, what their small block looks like.
Right.
So it is the LT6 is the name of it.
Okay.
It's a 5.5 liter dual overhead cam V8. Now, half of me wants to go, wow, dual overhead cam, GM, what a unique innovation. Well done, it's friggin' 2021. Good job, guys. Yeah. But the reality is, it is actually a mind-blowingly good motor.
Right.
There's so much tech behind it.
It's truly, what the phrase of, oh yeah, GM, welcome to the club, finally.
Yes, it is.
You know, I get the traditional LS, LT engine, we're Chevy guys, I get that. But look what the new dual overhead cam motor can do.
Yes.
And naturally aspirated.
Are they late to the game? Fine, but it doesn't matter at this point because here's the thing. If they would have come out with a dual overhead cam motor and it was just okay, then people could make jokes all day.
That's right.
But it's the most horsepower any production naturally aspirated V8 has made ever. 670 horsepower, naturally aspirated. That's no one's can come close.
That is so cool.
Right, and guys, you're like, oh well, the Hellcat makes 1,000. Yeah, with a big stunky blower on it.
Exactly.
Right. So not only that, obviously dual overhead cam, flat plane crank. The thing redlines at like 8,600 RPM.
Which is cool. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a great video of it, just like absolutely pinging out every single time. They've really taken, and when I say a world stage, it's like it's getting close to being able to compete with those supercars.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
it sounds the part.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a Corvette. It sounds like a supercar.
No, Stephen actually sent us a link. I'm definitely going to listen to it. I haven't had a chance yet, but that makes me question: is there really a purist in the car world anymore? Like, you know, the traditional, no, it's single cam push rod V8. How dare you? I think the Corvette guys, like anybody else, is going to go, I think that's pretty cool.
They should.
Right.
They absolutely should. You'd be selling yourself short if for whatever reason you're like, they shouldn't have messed with the recipe. It's like, no, move out of the way.
That's right. Yeah.
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 I mean, it's interesting a point you make. Is there any level of, there obviously are, but those guys are clearly wrong.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that it's still got the badge on it. Mm-hmm. It still looks like the Corvette. I guess those same guys would have been pissed that the motor's in the back.
Yeah, but I mean,
Sort of.
that was the whole, like when the C8 launched and it's like, oh, it's a mid-engine. Nobody really was mad. I mean, we've been wanting a mid-engine Corvette for the last 15 years, and they've been teasing, ideas about it. And then they finally did it, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, this is actually really good."
Yeah.
And then they made a better motor, and oh wow, it's way better. Yeah.
But revving something that high, the sound note that'll come out of that engine, it makes me. I actually can't wait to see what they do with like a ZR1 version.
Right. Well, and that's so I'm kind of torn on that. Because if you look at, you kind of have to break it down a couple days. So the Z06 right now is worth, I don't know, like 80, I think, and again, my memory's kind of hazy. I read it a while ago, but I think the starting price is like 80-ish US, right? So you've got to think of what they're going up against and who they're competing with.
Sure.
If they come out with a ZR1, that's going to be a $100,000 car, right?
Absolutely.
Who are we competing against at this point? This is going against, top tier Porsche, 911 GT3s, stuff like that. And then it's like, man, if you're going to go to that bar, you better be able to meet it. Because like those cars they exist in the 100 plus range and they are kind of in the untouchable sphere.
Absolutely.
And like, man, if they can pull it off, good on them. But that's a big ask.
It is a big ask. And you're right that the 911 GT3, that echelon of car, the AMG Mercedes, like you said, the 100 plus and way up, they've been there for a while, and nobody ever says, geez, that Porsche isn't very good.
Right, no.
They're past that.
Well, and the funny thing about it is it's like, hey, have you seen the new 2022 911 GT3 RS? Does it look like the 2020 and the 19 and the 18 and the 17 and the 16 and the 15 and the 14? Yeah, because they know what works. They don't need to change it at this point because it's for them borderline perfect. you've got GM on the other side who's like really shaking things up.
Absolutely.
And they might be able to, I don't know, they might be able to catch up. Again, that's going from, it's really jumping out of their pond, right, into a big ocean with some big fucking fish.
Yeah, and they are big.
They are. Yeah.
And there's no prisoners in that shit.
Nope.
Because if, it'll be interesting. I wonder if it'll start, again, all three North American main manufacturers are all doing things out of the box, which is great to see. But I think GM stepped it up here on this dual overhead cam deal.
I totally agree. Ford, when they came out with the new, the GT350, and they did the flat plane, and that was, 2-3 years ago. At the time, that was like, oh, very interesting, very interesting. And that made a boatload of power, and it sounds great. But again, that was one small change that made a big difference. GM's made a lot of big changes that has made a huge difference. Going back to comparing it to stuff, I mean, even if you look at the design, there's certain things, if you look at it in the back of the car, it's got this gorgeous, like, dual plenum intake that really, again, screams exotic. It looks Ferrari, it looks Lamborghini.
Absolutely.
It's got all the sort of telltales of oh, that's not a normal car.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh, it's great.
I think it's great because it brings that exotic level down to the common guy.
Well,
to a level, I mean.
Not my kind of common.
Well, not mine either.
Well, good.
Hence why we're sitting here. But
here's the thing: the chances of seeing one are exponentially higher.
Absolutely.
As going back to seeing those C8s all over, because it's a reasonable thing that you can. What's interesting is let's just stick with Ferrari. Where's the closest Ferrari dealership? Vancouver?
Probably.
Is there one in Calgary? I don't think so.
Even if they did, why would you want to go there?
Good call. Go to Vancouver. Yeah. But you want to order a Corvette. Now, obviously, Z06 is going to be in pretty short supply to start, but it's not crazy that, how many GM dealers are in Edmonton alone? I don't know, 20, 30?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Right.
So
even if they all got one, that's 30 cars you're going to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just, whether or not, it's not necessarily about affordability at this point as much as it's about accessibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll see one, there's a very good chance that we'll see one at a driven in not too long from now. Whereas some of that other stuff, less so.
The driven show is actually a good example of what you'll get to see. Like when I was in the morning at the driven show, there was Range Rovers and Porsches and everything rolling through the door, but they're all a couple of years old and super nice cars and all, changed, wrapped, you name it, that something's been done to it.
Yeah.
But you see the C8 everywhere and it's like, that's a brand new car. Like that, there's no way it has more than 1,000 clicks on it. So you're like, cool, gotta love Alberta, dirt on the road, everything like that.
Sure.
I'm driving it because I bought it.
Hell yeah.
And we have the money to do it. Again, not us, but we.
Yes, not me and you personally, but somebody does.
Somebody does.
I've seen them.
Absolutely.
They exist.
Generational financing. It's great. But you know as well as I do is that when it's in the dealership, somebody's going to have it.
Yeah.
And that guy is going to be proud and he's going to be driving it.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool to see. I can't wait to hear one live.
I know.
To have somebody.
Yeah,
rip on one.
a video is one thing, and it sounds great, but
Sure.
Obviously the experience is so much different when you hear one just, banging off its 8,600 RPM limiter. Actually, that reminds me, something cool that they did with it. Obviously, the transmission is like a dual clutch automatic deal. They have they put a built-in. I think if you hold both the paddles, it'll go into a free float. So at any time, it lets you drop it essentially into a neutral, which lets you then select whatever gear you want out of that. But it also, whether you're moving, whether you're stopped at any time, you can just sort of pop it into an open gear and just rev the piss out of it, which is exactly what all those cars need to do all of the time.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's a trans brake.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Right?
kind of. I don't know if it lets you so much if it would work as like a kind of a launch control. Maybe. I don't know though. I don't know.
Nothing like an 8,500 drop to first to see what weakest point.
Yeah, exactly. You'll figure it out real quick.
Yeah. Just remember that all these new cars have sophisticated computer systems that will tell them when you farted in the seat and how often you do. So you'll void your fucking warranty instantly if you're doing shit like that.
Of course.
Yeah. So
it's all being tracked.
exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. As
but
well.
whatever.
Yeah.
Warranties are meant to be broken.
Of course they are. And you need to go and argue why, a set of valve cover gaskets is $2,500. Have at her. But what else you got from SEMA?
Okay, so here's a cool one. So this is the truck that Redline Oil brought. They partnered up with a company called Arrington Performance, which the sort of history behind Arrington Performance is they build racing motors, they build, they'll take a traditional motor and they just build different racing motors, and there's sort of innovation through that.
Sure.
They've been working on some tech for a while now, and this isn't a new idea by any means, but it's a new approach. It's a new approach to an old idea that has yet to be solved.
Right.
So they call it their zero technology.
Okay.
And it's not electric, but it's hydrogen. So hydrogen's been floating around the automotive industry for the last 30 years, more or less.
Yeah.
And we have hydrogen fuel cell cars. Those aren't new. Hydrogen fuel cell obviously uses hydrogen as a fuel to turn it into electricity using an electrochemical reaction, basically. That doesn't really... That's not, when people think of hydrogen fuel cars, that's not really what they mean. What they mean is taking hydrogen as an element and using it as fuel. And again, we've come up with ways to do hydrogen internal combustion engines before, but they need to be sort of designed from scratch.
Yep.
They even, at best, part of the problem with hydrogen as an element is that it seeps through a lot of materials that we would consider solid.
That's right.
Just at an atomic level, it's really difficult to contain.
Yes.
So it's hard to build fuel tanks for it. It's hard to build gas lines, fuel rails, manifolds, all of the pieces that we normally design for like gasoline or diesel.
Absolutely.
They don't work.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. Well, these guys at Arrington, and this truck is in their Redline booth. It's a really gorgeous looking classic truck. You'd never expect this. So they have come up with a way to, their whole thing is it's a conversion kit for a pre-existing engine platform. So this truck that you see here, if you open the hood, it looks like it has an LS swap. And
Right.
it does, for all intents and purposes. And that's cool. Everyone does an LS swap. Neat, not particularly new. Hey, classic truck with an LS. Cool, man. I've
Airbags, candy red, the whole thing is like, wow, that is a nice truck.
Wow, that's the 100th one at SEMA.
Exactly.
But this is an LS motor running hydrogen fuel.
Yeah. See,
So it's a conversion kit for an LS platform that uses hydrogen internally combusting. So obviously why they call it the zero technology is that the whole point of why do we want to combust hydrogen, because when it combusts, rather than carbon products, because there's no carbon in it, like CO2, carbon monoxide, there's just NX products, right? And water. So it's essentially
good for the environment.
good for the environment in the sense that there's no emissions, no carbon emissions anyway. Those are the bad ones. So now you're kind of starting to think about, well, geez. And they say that it's an LS platform that runs and drives the same as a gasoline LS.
Wow.
Part of the other issue with hydrogen as a fuel for an internal combustion engine is that it usually makes a lot less power. And the reason behind that is because you can't get a stoichiometric
Yep.
combination like you would with gasoline.
Okay.
Because if you get it properly mixed on a 1-to-1 ratio, it burns so insanely hot. So they usually have to dial it way back down, which
Right.
makes less power.
Right.
So it's like, okay, cool, we have an LS that makes 200 horsepower, big whoop.
Right.
Well, and again, unfortunately, they haven't released the tech specs. I'm sure they're keeping those very closely guarded.
Yeah.
But this is an LS platform that runs like an LS, performs like an LS, but it uses hydrogen.
That is unbelievable.
It's pretty spectacular. I mean, this is kind of what people have been wanting. Again, for like 30 years, we've been talking about the idea of this.
And exactly, you talk about the idea, but you think hydrogen cell and you think, atomic weaponry and you think things that are just so far-fetched, but here we are, Tesla, they're mainstream.
100%.
They are online. You've got cities, you've got states, provinces, and major manufacturers saying, we're no longer going to produce gas-powered vehicles.
Sure, you've got a ton of companies that have already said, by whatever year, we're not making any more gasoline cars.
And not that far away. I think one of the ones I read was 2035.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Holy
I think
shit.
VW and Audi, like the Volkswagen Group, they've said they're done. It might be that might be the date. I remember thinking like, that's barely 10 years. That's not that long.
Right.
By X year, no more, like they're done. We're not making any more, period. Because so far, the only real answer has been EVs.
Exactly. And the question is, how cool would it be that, our kids are growing up, in their 20s, to finish school, you want to, here, son, take the Camaro, take the Mustang, whatever it is. Gas stations are few and far between, Dad, but hey, if we get some hydrogen conversion on this thing,
right,
we're set. I kind of think that that's the wave.
I mean, maybe. Again, here's the thing. It comes with a lot of the same problems that EVs initially had, which was like, cool, where do I plug it in?
Right.
But again, to a certain degree, that problem is being solved.
On a rapid pace.
Yeah, so it's really depending, it's like again, the tech's not new, but it's a new approach to it. It's like anything. It's all depending on how people are going to adopt it. If this tech lives up to what they claim it does, people would be crazy not to look at it and not to really seriously consider adopting this on a big level, on a big
100%.
scale. Hydrogen as a fuel, currently, right now, like, where would you go? Adele, go give me a gallon of hydrogen. Where do you even start?
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily because it's insanely rare or it's just not it's not
available.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there is no need for it.
It's the same thing if you broke down in your Tesla and you said, go get me a bucket of fucking electricity. I don't know where to go. Like, I have no idea. Call me with your normal car. I'll bring you some gas. It's all good. But you're right. The question is, and I'm sure that's why they're guarding it to themselves for a couple of reasons, that we are still, in North America, big oil driven. And anybody that thinks that we're not, including everybody that buys the Tesla and whatever, but hey, these guys probably have a plan written on paper that in the event that somebody kills me, please release everything. Because if this is like you said, it is an ability to convert a traditional V8 engine over to a environmentally friendly fuel.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, and that's just it. It's not, oh, well, you got to come up with this new engine platform. It's like, we've designed this engine. Cool. Other people have too. Who's going to, we're not expecting OEs to start just producing these hydrogen engines. No. But it's like, hey, it has, and we'll just stick with LS because that's what's in the truck. It has an LS in it right now. Fucking everything. So it's like, if you could get a conversion kit that's not an obscene cost, that delivers the same kind of performance that gasoline's going to, and there's a way to procure said fuel, geez, I mean, hey, I love a big stanky gas burning motor too, but I'm also not an oblivious idiot, and like, environment is in need of changing.
Of course. What about cost of living?
Exactly.
That I'm with you. I've got a car that, hey, goes fast and burns a lot of gas.
Yeah.
Great. But when I drive to work, if I could convert my truck over to this system and not pay $1.40 at the pump once every 4 days, I'd be all over it.
Of course. Yeah.
And it just, I think that, you look at Europe as a benchmark and the car dealerships and manufacturers that focus there. Well, they've been driving small vehicles and fuel-efficient vehicles for the last 50 years. Yeah. Because they said, well, geez, I make this much money every month. Why would I want to spend 30% on fuel?
Right. It's
I'd
not
rather
sustainable.
spend it on going out, having wine and dinner and enjoying my evening with my family. And that's money well spent, not see my blown V8 over there?
Right.
4 miles to the gallon. I had to work double shifts this week just to make sure I got gas in that fucker. Mm-hmm. No way. No. Right? So, yeah, I don't know that performance is something. I'm not going to say it's not something, but I don't know that it's the everyday driver anymore. It's not the, hey, I drive my Mustang to work every day. Now you see, well, we have one of our guys, Eric, at the Northside store.
Yeah.
He's got a SRT8
300.
Chrysler 300.
Yeah.
He buys a 4-cylinder winter beater and drives that all winter and then shines his car up and drives it on nice days.
Sure.
I think that makes more sense now more than anything.
More than ever it has, yeah.
Right? Because, hey, we work for a living. Guy's getting married. He's moving on with his life. Everything's great. He doesn't want to spend $400 every 2 weeks on fuel.
No, and I mean $1.40 a liter, that's regular gas.
Exactly.
That's regular gas. What's premium? $1.65 or something? I don't even know.
Yeah, unbuckle because it hurts. Yeah. I bought a Yukon for my family. Mm-hmm. Yeah, premium.
What?
Oh,
Why?
stupidity. I think I've narrowed it back down to stupidity. You know, I just.
Do you need to put premium in a Yukon? Is that what it says, or is you choosing to?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When it's a Denali, it says it right on the thing. You know, and pretty sure my wife won't watch this, but I put regular anytime I can because it hurts me when it's $150 fucking dollars to fill the thing at the pump.
My Explorer EcoBoost takes regular. Right. Twin turbo, but they designed it specifically to take regular gas.
Right.
It's the first regular gas car that I've had since 2008 maybe, and like it was a point of like I can't keep affording to put in 60 liters of premium gas all the time. And I hate to tell you, but I think my EcoBoost on a regular gas would stomp your Yukon on premium.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Like there's no question to that whatsoever. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. And hey, when I was looking them up, you know, I got a big family like you do, thinking seats and room and all that. And for some reason in Vancouver, it was $10,000 cheaper than everywhere else.
Oh, that's just because Edmonton has Edmonton tax, which is $5,000 just because you live here.
And that's what I thought. I got down there, flew down, got a Uber to the dealership, and I'm talking to the guy in the Uber, and I'm telling him what I'm buying. He's like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "Why is that?" He goes, "Gas is $2 a liter here." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't live here."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, but you know," and he gave me the whole money well spent.
Sure.
You know, it was like the father-son talk, even though I think I was older than him, but whatever. I thought it was a great idea, and I saved money on the purchase. It's used, obviously. You know, they're way too much money new, but hey, get it back. Now gas premium is $1.61, and I used to be the guy that would tell like, "Why are you waiting in line at Costco? Really, for the extra 8 cents? Do you value your life at all?" Well, guess who the fuck sits in the Costco lineup now and waits to fuel it up? My wife.
Yeah.
Because I asked her to very nicely.
Of course. Yes, of course.
Because you know, there's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Yeah.
That's cool. I
It's something.
I'd like to see. You know, I can't wait for them to release more, or the technology, or whatever comes of it, because wow, you know, one of my friends messaged me the other day, and you know, he builds hot rods and stuff, and I said, "Oh, what are you going to put in for an engine platform?" He goes, "I think I'm going to go electric."
Yeah. Well, to keep talking, that's an excellent segue.
I was like, "What did you say?" You know, like I was, because this is, you know, big block Chevy guy, you know, traditional. He goes, "Yeah, I think I'm going to do an electric," and I was like, "Wow, okay, tell me more, right?" But things are changing, and I think they're for the good.
Buddy of mine, Josh, he's got a Mustang as well. He's got a classic Mustang. I think it's a '66 fastback.
Cool.
And his dad and him have built a few Mustangs over the years, and he's been waiting to kind of rebuild his right now. It's got 289 in it, right, which is fine. But he's been waiting to do a project on it because he really wants to build an electric sort of retro Mustang, as a lot of people do. Well, good segue into the next thing that again is a SEMA topic. Ford unveiled today their new electric crate motor.
Oh.
So they put it in a truck. The truck is, Steve, do you have a picture of the truck or just of the motor?
I do, 1 second.
Nice. Yeah, so 78 F100, gorgeous looking classic truck.
Absolutely.
Super, super nice. So this is called their Illuminator motor.
Okay.
This is based off of the motor that is in the E-Mach, which is making a lot of news already.
You bet.
So it's a little bit smaller. Basically, the idea is, it's a drop-in electric crate engine. So how it is right now is it's designed to be a transverse mount. So right out of the box, it kind of fits best on either front-wheel drive applications, or if you want to do a rear-wheel drive application, you simply mount it in the rear. Now I say simply because
it's
custom, not that simple.
Yeah.
That being said, this truck, so each motor makes 281 horsepower, and I don't remember what it said on torque, but a pretty good amount, 300 and some foot-pound torque. What they did on this truck, on this F100, is they mounted one in the front, one in the back, one powering each set. So it's four-wheel drive, and it makes
Cool.
480 some horsepower, electric, and the specs end up being very similar to that E-Mach, which again is like a crazy impressive car.
Sure.
So now we're starting to develop the potential of doing some builds using electric crate
Absolutely.
engines. And this isn't like here's the engine and you have to custom fabricate everything. The plan that Ford wants to go, and this is what they're working towards, is they're going to be designing bell housings, drop-in kits, harnesses,
Right.
battery packs,
Right.
specific to your application. So the
Right.
idea is that, yeah, hey man, you want to build your 66 electric E-Mustang? All right, here's your motor.
Yeah.
And again, depending on how they do it,
Yeah,
you know, time will tell.
Sure.
They'll have a rear kit probably,
Yep.
rear mount it in the trunk,
Yeah.
rear-wheel drive,
Yeah.
basically 300 horsepower, battery pack, wiring harness, set it all up, a wiring kit to run the gauges, everything, and it's going to be like a complete package.
That's cool.
Total game changer.
it is.
Total
It
game
really
changer.
is.
And this kind of goes back to the, like, hey man, it's cool to have an LS and it runs whatever and
Sure.
you paying X amount at the pump. If you're looking at doing a build like your buddy, it suddenly opens a lot of things up.
Absolutely it does.
And it's not a brand new idea. I mean, Chevy's been playing with the idea of an electric crate engine for a while.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think in 2020 at SEMA, they had a Blazer that had their electric motor.
Yeah.
But they failed to produce a
Yeah.
workable version of that.
No traction.
Ford has kind of beat them to the punch a little bit, just ahead of the electric F-150 launch, by the way, which is
Cool.
coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
So now we have the potential to realistically look at doing like an actual electric drivetrain swap in sort of like a, kind of a retro build.
Yeah, non-traditional. You wouldn't think it. You're right. We're a few years away from and then you think about of the stuff that we sell. Ford comes out with the crate engine, and then they come out with the bell housing, so it mounts up to a C4 transmission.
Sure.
Drop it in, hook it up, and wiring harness. Well, then guys like Holly will be like, hey, you know what we got?
Mm-hmm.
We got everything you need too.
Yes.
Do whatever you want. And how long after Ford and GM and the major guys come out with their crate version do you have Blueprint guys, and do
Of
you
course.
have ProWorks engines? Fern, you're on the hook now,
That's
man.
right.
You better design an electric engine, right? Yeah, hell will freeze over before that happens, but hey,
It's fine.
You never know. But yeah, I can't wait to see them, because I think it's just going to be, again, less about, oh yeah, it's a 7-second streetcar, as opposed to, that's all-wheel drive, dual electric motors, and it's instant horsepower, instant torque right now.
And it also is potentially a 7-second streetcar.
Exactly, exactly. Because you see some of, like you said, the E-Mach or Mach E or whatever it is, they're fast.
They're stupid fast.
Yeah. And cool.
Well, and like, who was it that was ripping around in one? Was it Mr. DC Shoes himself? Was it Ken Block? I'm trying to remember. It was about a year ago. I
Probably.
think it was.
He always,
it was
he's
before.
the first to everything.
Yeah, it was before he left Ford. It was when he was
Right.
still with Ford.
Right.
And they gave him one to play around with. They were building him one. And one of the things that he said, and we might have talked about it, again, this is a year and some ago, is that the secret to this and like why there's so much potential in these EV platforms is that like, as far as tuning goes, it's all literally just computer tuning. Like,
Of course.
it's the simplest thing to turn this, and I've seen a few driving around, and they're pretty cool looking cars. This like already very capable platform into like, there's a video of him driving it, and again, this is a while ago, it came out, and he's like shitting his pants. It's scary.
Right.
And he's like, this thing blows my mind.
Right.
And all they did, it's like, oh yeah, let's up the
Amperage, voltage,
yeah,
whatever,
let's up
yeah.
the torque to I don't know, 900 feet-pound. Okay,
Yeah.
boop. All right, go drive. And then it's like dial it back down, amp it up, dial it down, switch it around. Computer tuning has been around for a long time, but it's never been like that. It's never been so instant.
Yeah.
And it's all just basically like, yeah, tell it to do this, it'll do it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. And if you've got a professional like that going, holy shit, yeah,
Right.
the rest of us are not going to be able to even fucking comprehend.
Exactly. And again, you've got companies like Edelbrock or Holly. Man, you get some tuning guys in the aftermarket coming out with plug and play or like, the potential for software hopefully it's going to be accessible. It's not
Yeah.
going to be all locked up,
Yeah.
but there's big potential there.
There is. It's exciting, and I think, you know, as we continue with our podcast and things going forward, I can't wait to say, hey, did you see it? It's out there. It's, you know, guys are doing it. Come check it out. If we can get somebody to come by and show us a build like that, we'd love to
Absolutely.
see that person and go through it with them. We'll do a location and they can give us everything. Why not, right? So, not bad for a first one, eh, Corey?
Not so bad. Not so bad.
I thought it was good.
Dusted the shirts off.
Yeah.
You know, oiled the joints a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in our opinion, it's always good. It's fucking great, actually. But we'll wait to see.
Well, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up, obviously.
Yeah.
So big thanks to everyone who tuned in and listened and downloaded and watched.
Oh, our next one is the frequency. Not every week.
Oh, that's right.
You
Yeah.
won't be seeing us all the time.
No, thank God. Yeah, we were doing it weekly before. It's going to be Wednesdays. It's going to be every other week now.
Yep.
Wednesdays at 5. So the next one's going to be 2 weeks from now. And looking forward to it.
Same here.
Yeah, we might have to come up with something new to say.
Shit. Steve, that's all on you.
Yeah, get working on the script.
I'll do my best.
All right, thanks again, everyone.
Thanks for
We'll
tuning
see you
in.
soon.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to the JBs Powercast.
You can find us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you're a podcast listener, you can find us on most popular platforms.
The JBs Powercast has been a JBs Power Center production and is produced by Sean Landsman and Stephen MD, with hosts Corey and Adele.